All right, welcome back to Turnbull Garage. So it's been quite some time since I've had some vehicle or car content. As you know, I did take some time off for a couple of weeks. Got married in Mexico, and right on the heels of that, I got COVID. Both Jenny and I got COVID, so I'm just getting over COVID. Today's the first day I'm actually out of bed. It was a tough go, but that's behind me, and so now I'm going to be carrying on with this Subaru Sambar Rescue. So in the last video we did with this, I was working, trying to get this carburetor figured out. It's having problems where once it's warmed up, the thing just won't run. It just stalls as soon as you give it gas. When it's cold, it runs fine. So that's my clue. I'm going to dig into that today. So let's just start this thing up. We'll pull it up and back it into the garage. Obviously, I can't work inside my shop. I got both the Mustangs in here hibernating, so but today happens to be a very nice sunny day out, so I'm going to back that thing up here and yeah, see if we can figure out what the heck is going on with this thing. Let's get some air in this tire. So yeah, as you can hear, this thing does run like a top. It but once it warms up, as soon as you give it a bit of throttle, it just dies. So I'm gonna let it warm up here for a little bit and see what happens here. All right, so this is the original carburetor that was in the truck that I've got in my shop here. And I think I might have stumbled upon what the problem is. At least I think I'm getting hot, getting close. So it's got something to do with the engine's cold, it runs fine. As soon as it warms up, it's got a dead spot. So this is your throttle here when you open and close the throttle. If you look on this is your air intake side, it opens up through a linkage in here, opens and closes that butterfly. Now, this is also controlled by a vacuum. This is your choke. So when the engine's, so when you first start your engine, that is closed. And then once your engine warms up, this thing will stay open. And I think what's happening is I find if I hold this with my thumb on the other vehicle and rev it up, it works fine. But as soon as I let it go, it doesn't. It's got that dead spot, and I'll show you what I think it is. So I thought it might be this check valve. This check valve is what controls the vacuum actuator here. Yeah, there's a vacuum line goes right to your intake manifold through a check valve. I thought maybe that was a problem, but it's not. I do believe I found what the problem is. Back to the side of the carburetor. So this little cover piece goes on the side. I remove that. There's a screw on the bottom, a screw on the side. And what that does, it exposes a whole bunch of this. It's really complicated. Don't ask me how it works. But one thing I found is there is an adjustment screw right there. You can see it's a jam nut and an Allen head screw. And I don't really know what this does. It is also connected to this mechanism here, and I think what it does is it adds more spring tension to this actuator, which overcomes it. Hard to explain, but anyway, I'll go over to the other engine and I'll show you what it does. So here back on the vehicle I'm trying to fix. Down here, this is that little adjustment that I was talking about. If I move it about that far, the engine runs fine. If I let it go, it stalls out like it does. So that little adjustment that far is what it is. So I'm going to go in there and adjust that. There's a little jam nut there and set that, and I think that's going to solve my problem. Okay, I do believe I have solved the problem. So as I showed you, this little lever here, there's an adjustment screw. I wasn't getting enough of an adjustment on it, and then I realized here, underneath here is another screw, which is like a coarse adjustment. And what happens, of course, when this has got your coolant line coming through this part of the carburetor. This piece gets hot and it pushes this piston down, which pushes down on this plate. This was out of adjustment, this screw. So this plate was pushing too far down, which rotates the choke assembly. I don't know how it works, but anyway, that explains why when the engine was cold, it ran fine. And as it warmed up and as this piston went down, it pushed this plate, but it would rotate this whole assembly too far. So I adjusted it so this plate would come up a bit, and now it doesn't have that dead spot in the throttle anymore. So here, I'll just start it up and we'll have a look. Okay, with it idling here, it used to be if I just gave it a little bit of throttle, it would stall. Now, it's perfectly smooth. It would not do that before. So, oh, a little bit of a hesitation there. Oh, maybe still there. Maybe I'll adjust it a little bit more. Yeah, it's still a bit of a hesitation. Okay, I made another little adjustment, and now no hesitation. So with that said, we're going for a test drive. All right, well, maybe 3 times the charm. I think she's running good. Aces. All right, so that test drive went well engine-wise, but unfortunately another problem has reared its ugly head, and that is the passenger side, or right side, driver's side on this thing, the caliper is seized. I noticed that it was lagging power, and then I realized it was the brake riding on this thing. So that caliper is no good. I just happen to have a spare. Where is it here? Where did I put it? Right here. I have one that I kept from another vehicle. I got 2, so I'm not sure if this is left or the right, but I guess I'll be swapping out a caliper, and then this thing should be good to go. All right, let's pop this wheel off and see how hot this rotor got. Woo, Jesus, lug nuts are hot. Oh, man. There we go. Well, other than being super hot, yeah, these rotors aren't the best, but you know what? We'll just replace this caliper real quick, and we should be good to go. Because I'm going to be replacing the caliper, that means I've got to remove the brake line. So it's always easier to loosen the brake line while it's all assembled, and then just crack it tight enough so that it won't leak. But I always just crack it a little bit loose, snug it up so that when I do have to take it off, it's not hard to do. All right, we'll crack these. Crack these bolts are 19 mil. Big breaker bar on them. Okay, that is really hot. All right, so with that caliper sort of up and out of the way, the pads on this one are actually better than those. There's more pad material, so I'm just going to throw these existing pads on. Okay, looks like those things, oh yeah, they move. So make sure these things are floating good. Yeah, they are. All right, so with that caliper on, it slides back and forth nice and easy. So that's good. So the last thing I got to do is replace the line. Now, one thing to realize, it's not a good practice, but I don't really have any choice right now, is reusing the copper crush washers. There's a copper crush washer goes on here and on the other side of the fitting. You should never reuse them, but unfortunately I don't have any. So although I'll go check, I might have some, I'll check, but in this case I'll just get it really tight, press the brakes really hard, check for leaks. If they do leak, then I'll have to go to the store and get some. Yeah, I just checked. I've got some, but they're not the right size. So with that said, we're just gonna use what we've got. I can always change it later if I need to. Jeez, it breaks hot. All right, interestingly, these washers look like they're metal, like not copper, steel. So anyway, with that off there, make sure these threads are clean. Make sure everything's clean here. There's a bit of crap on here. That one on there. So there you go. Now all I gotta do is bleed these. Hopefully that will resolve my brake issue. All right, so bleeding the brakes on this particular wheel, it's gonna be really easy because I can actually just reach in and push the brake pedal and crack the line. There you go. Brake is bled. One thing I just wanted to check to see that the rotor spins. I can push the brake. Yeah, it is releasing, so that's good. So that should resolve my problem. So get this wheel back on, torqued up, and take it for one more little drive. All right, so I took this thing for a test drive. The brakes are perfect. The engine is working perfect. It is officially done. This project has been a lot of work, a long time, but very rewarding in the end, as this thing was, as you know, destined for the scrapyard. And now I'm going to sell this to someone, and they're going to hopefully enjoy it for a few years. So yeah, that's going to bring it to an end. And the timing to get this project couldn't be better. I actually have a new project arriving tomorrow. Just a fluke. But yeah, I've got a new project arriving tomorrow. Another mini truck. It's not a Subaru, but I'll bring that up in the next video. You'll have to wait. So yeah, thoughts and comments down below. Think about subscribing so you'll see what the next project is when the video comes out. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Have yourself a great day.